Beside the gaping mine shafts that scar the mountain's face are huts of tin, built at capricious and precarious angles, with nothing to keep out the glacial wind but improvised sheets of metal, nothing to generate warmth but fetid heaps of garbage. The only convenience here is the electricity, brought in by overlords so that the machinery can grind and shuttle cars can rumble through the mountain's black veins. At night, La Rinconada glitters like a cruel oasis. Make no mistake, this is a trip for the armchair only. As Dante might say, let me guide you through a fascinating circle of hell. To a barren world. I would not have gone up to the peak the locals call La Bella Dormiente, Sleeping Beauty, had I not been accompanied by a team of professionals from CARE. I traveled there to write a script for Girl Rising, a film directed by Richard Robbins, produced by the documentary group and poised for release next week. It is a film about girls who live in desperately hard places, about how educating them could change their families, their communities, and very possibly the world. In the course of my journey up to La Rinconada, I had every expectation that I would find hunger and hardship. What I had not expected was to find beauty in ugliness, to see, as a mountain shaman might put it, the sacred in the profane. Being a native of Lima, I know what every school child knows, that although Peru is small, slightly smaller than Alaska, it encompasses a virtual panoply of landforms: mountain, jungle, desert, marshland, archipelago, coastline, all in defined geographic areas and often in dramatic contiguity. Fly over Peru, and Mount Huascaran's majestic peak seems to hover over the foliage of the Amazon jungle. The green cliffs of Miraflores are just down the coast from the sands of Chan Chan. But riding a truck from Puno to the little village of Putina, circling the northernmost bend of Lake Titicaca, I almost convinced myself that this trip would continue its happy paved course into the horizon. The roads were good, the views of the so-called highest navigable lake in the world literally breathtaking, and at almost 13,000 feet, there was no malaise that a few cups of coca tea couldn't cure. In fact, this part of the world is known for its pharmacological cornucopia. Every shrub or weed is a botanical miracle. Flores de Bach for melancholy, muña for chills or bone pain, pampanis for intestinal gas, yawar chonka for diarrhea. Fields of medicinal possibility rushed past as we raced along the highway. Looking out at the reed catamarans that skimmed the lake's dazzling surface, or the grass islands that floated peacefully in the sun, I couldn't imagine that snows trickling into that paradise were anything but pristine. Within a half hour of leaving Putina, however, the road had become dirt, rock, soon frozen mud, and my crew was being pitched about as it would be for 2 more hours of a difficult journey. The Altiplano, a stretch of high mesa only slightly lower than the Tibetan plateau, stretched before us, stippled with rough grass and stone. Trees were scarce, thatched huts more so, and the odd flowers, bright orange cantutas, had brought a herd of startled alpaca onto that frigid January plain. They stood at the limits of faded pasture, raising their delicate heads as we bounced over rut and rock, eyeing us with haughty scorn. Before long, as broad swaths of arid plain gave way to scarred earth, we could see why La Rinconada is only rarely visited by government poobahs. The air at 18,000 feet is stiflingly thin, the cold excruciating. Now and then, ramshackle trucks and vans rattled past, carrying miners and their families, stopping on the roadside to catch their breath, chew coca leaf, and leave offerings to the earth goddess, Pachamama, to whom altars had been erected along the way. All about, for as far as the eye could see, was a crazed landscape. What was once a region of sparkling lakes, leaping fish, and grassland is now a barren world that beggars the imagination. The green is gone. The earth is turned.